Hello, and thank you for clicking on my channel, Kelly Legends Media. And today we're going to talk a little bit about another channel of a young man who used to be a correctional officer, Hector Bravo. Okay, he worked in the corrections department for several years. He even made lieutenant. So he was up there in rank, you know what I'm saying? And he quit his job because he didn't like the changes that CDC was undergoing, right? And pretty much he did kind of what Renee did in the criminal world. On his way out, he pretty much pulled all the covers off of all the stuff that was going on in CDC. He did so hoping to uncover what he feels and says is a catastrophe waiting to happen. And he did it not only for himself, but for the other correctional officers that he left behind, that he feels are in danger and their lives are being put at risk. And in many cases, also the inmates' lives are being put at risk under this same rhetoric that he talks, okay? And I don't mean rhetoric in a bad way. It's not negative. I think what he's doing is positive and stuff. You know I've made videos in the past, and I spoke about Hector Bravo when he made some references to paisas being chomos. And anyways, that was then, this is now, okay? He made a video that I watched today, just a little while ago, where he went ahead and shared some of the things that he's been going through. And it sounds like he's going through some of the same thing that we go through. You know, when I say we, I'm talking about the people in the other side of the cell door. Okay? Now, he's been hit with 3 search warrants. For whatever reason, they felt they needed to go in and get all up in his shit and dig through his stuff, trying to find things that they could use against him. And I did a video just the other day on how the gang unit had a confidential informant, supposedly, that told them that I was running a drug ring and we were moving large quantities of drugs and using the money to buy weapons to supply to the neighborhood. And, you know, they came in and when they hit my house, man, you should have seen them. It looked like an army, you know, dogs, everything. It was, and to top it off, during that time, I spent most of my time in a recliner, and I was taking antibiotics intravenously through a PICC line that was put in that went directly into my heart, you know. And I had to there were these balls that I had to connect, and in the morning, one in the night, to try to get an infection from one of the surgeries that I had. And these guys came full force, took me out of my house like that in my boxers, barefooted. I used a walker at that time. No walker, nothing. Okay? Stood me outside and asked me if I had any large quantities of money, if there was any drugs in my house, if there was any firearms being kept in my house. All the stuff that was on the warrant, you know. And man, they tore that house, they turned it upside down. I don't think there was one thing that was in place where I put it. Everything, there was stuff from the bedroom thrown in the bathroom, inside the bathtub, on the floor, you know, my medical equipment, everything just tossed up, disrespected at the highest level. So I understand what Hector's going through. He's gone through 3 of these search warrants. This guy's short of having episodes of being short of breath. He's experienced chest pain. The guy's stressed out, you know. And on top of all of this, he's going through whatever he's going through with his wife, and he's heavily stressed also of his ability to spend time with his daughter, and what they might think about him with what the department is saying about him. And I also did some videos recently about some people that were incarcerated, that after 30 years they were released from prison, and the witness that had testified against them testified that they were wrong, that they had made a mistake, and they let the man go after 32 years of serving time in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Okay, and there's a lot of people like that in the CDC, a lot. And then there's some people in there for taking 3 little batteries, man, that ended up spending like 20 years in prison because they had 25 to life until the law changed. So in our government and our legal system, there's a lot of things that they can use. I'm not going to call them tools, but there's a lot of things that they can use when they want to get you for something, And Hector Bravo's been speaking against this department, the Department of Corrections, and against its leadership, pointing out all of the killings that are taking place in the department due to the changes that were made, during his employment. And he's been pretty straightforward about it. But for him being honest, for him doing what he felt that was the right thing, which he has a freedom of speech, nobody could stop him from saying anything. He could go out there and tell his story, but they're on this guy, to cause him pressure, to make him stop, or find a reason to incarcerate him. Now, if that man gets incarcerated, he's going to go straight SNY. He can't be on the main line, and over there, from what I hear, it sounds like it's worse than the main line. There's no rules, no structure. Everybody's pretty much doing their own thing, and it is what it is. There's no structure, no rules, nobody keeping everybody in line. Anyways, regardless that Hector Bravo is a CO, regardless that he an ex-CO, okay, and he may think or feel whatever he does about the inmate population, or even about Paisas, man, he's still an individual, man, that is trying to do what he thinks is best. Okay. Now, the kind of stress that he's going through can really get him sick and cause him other medical issues, because that's one of the number one causes of a lot of sicknesses is stress. When it gets to a certain level, and I've never seen this guy Hector Bravo. I never seen this guy Hector Bravo talk like that. He's usually upbeat, on fire. He's talked strong, but he sounded like he was pretty beat down behind all of this stuff. And there's other podcasters. I don't care about their standing. I don't care about anything except that they're human beings, and some of them are, they've got cancer. These people, finding out that you have a disease that's trying to take your life, that's stressful, And regardless where they came from, they're speaking their truth, and they're out to do whatever they're trying to accomplish with their channel, and I give them that, and respects to them, doing it through all of these obstacles that they have to get through, and they're not small obstacles, man. Having cancer and going through chemo and doing your channel, and then going to the hospital and not being able to do your videos and doing them from the hospital, and that's some crazy shit. These people are really going through it. Anyways, it's neither here nor there with me with Hector Bravo, but the man's going through something, man. That being said, okay, him and these other podcasters who are ill, that are sick, that are fighting for their lives, and there's been a few of them, and a couple of them have passed recently, but the ones that are still with us and they're fighting, I just want to ask for those of you who pray, man, say a little prayer for them. You know, keep them in mind and include them, and let's see if some changes could be made in their lives. You know, whether it be with the illnesses or the attacks that are upon them. You know, because basically that's what it is with Hector Bravo. He's being attacked. You know, and it's making him sick. You know. Anyways, yeah, when the powers to be, man, come after you, they dig in all of your business, man, and trying to find little things that you say and do. Especially like with Hector Bravo, man, I'm sure they go through his videos and or they're taking apart all of his videos, things, comments he made to see if he violated some type of, you know, because you have to sign paper sometimes where a confidentiality agreement, you know, where you can't speak on certain things, to see if he broke that. You know, who knows, maybe they'll try to come after him, try to sue him. The guy's going through enough already with his separation and his child and everything. Just keep the guy in prayer, man. Poor dude, man. Go check out his video. You know what I'm talking about. They're on that ass, you know what I mean? And I've been there, and it's nothing nice, man. And it'll make you sick, for sure. And for the other podcasters, too, who have been diagnosed with terrible things, you know. The probation officer, I can't think of the names right now of all of the podcasts. I know EBK was sick for a while. Yeah, there's quite a few. You know, the homie with a hockey mask, not upstate, not the upstate homie, so the homie in Mexico. But anyways, you know, loss of life is a terrible thing, man, and cancer is nothing nice, man. My son had cancer when he got cancer when he was like 17 years old, man. And I used to go to the City of Hope and see there's a lot of little kids, little babies, man, walking around with their IVs and stuff, smiling and having fun and stuff. I remember they had a wall where the kids would draw pictures and put them on this wall. Those were all the people that were still alive, right? And when they pass away, the kids that were left behind would go and take that picture off that wall and move it to the wall across from there, which were all the kids' pictures that were gone and had already passed away from that fucking terrible disease, you know? So it's a serious thing, you know? And that's why I say, man, for those of you who pray, you know, say a little prayer for them, man. Keep them in mind. And include old Hector Bravo. Include me too, brother. I'm down. I need it. All right. God bless you. God bless your families. You guys take care. Keep your head up. Stay strong. And do everything you got to do, man, to stay free. My channel's war cry, man. Stay free and stay with your family. So we could be here whenever they need us for whatever happens in life. Thank you for watching. If you came this far, I really appreciate it. Hit that like button, please. Thank you very much.